Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 20948 Northeast Wistful Vista Drive here in Fairview. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. We are just to the right of the front doorway. We have a 3-inch ABS cleanout embedded in the concrete patio. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the cleanout. And off we go. And depending on how the main lateral is situated in here, we may have a very long sewer, so this initial run here is going to be moving quick, but I will bring the camera back in slower. We just got to keep momentum up if we got to get out there a ways. Right out of the gate here, nice clean flow line, little tiny bit of grease built up in a few locations, but nothing significant thus far. And so I always give this kind of preemptive forewarning to anyone with a long sewer line. I've done over 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career. These long sewer lines like this, I tend to treat and look at a little bit differently. It's very, very common to have some level of settling in these longer lines because of the tight tolerances in grading them. They're just more prone to it. So generally speaking, when it comes to standing water issues, I usually don't start recommending fixes on it unless it's close proximity to the home and or very, very significant stuff. So right now underneath the water line, you can see how it's kind of a brownish tan color there. That's an example of some level of grease buildup. It's not a significant amount right now. I like to just point it out to people for educational purposes. If a lot of grease goes down the line, it makes the line sticky, and your line becomes a lot less forgiving under abusive scenarios. Like when kiddos are, wadding up a bunch of toilet paper. It causes stuff to stick that otherwise wouldn't. And or it can turn something that would naturally break loose on its own into something that won't. Alright, so this one looks like it's going the distance. I think we're going to go all the way down to the main road here. Our only hindrance is just the length of the camera here. My foot counter will max out at about 170 feet. My camera is actually exactly 188 feet long. The foot counter just hasn't been recalibrated for that. All right, just transition there to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. I'm very pleased with what I see here so far, especially considering the length of this line. I was saying before, the average line that pushes over about 100 feet, about 80% of them will have some level of standing water in them. Alright, we're getting pretty darn close to here where we're going to stop it. What I'm going to go do here is go locate. I will see if there are any secondary access points or not. Alright, so I just walked up and down the driveway. I even went up part of the adjacent driveway to this one. And up and down the sidewalk area for the main road that's off to the left of the home. I have not picked up any locate signal thus far. So as I come back in closer here, I'm going to see if I can hunt down some kind of locate signal, figure out which direction we just went. And I do see some indication of some secondary cleanouts. I'm just not entirely sure yet if they are ones I'm seeing are for this home or for some of the other houses. that tie-in right there, we just went, my camera won't move at this point, we're so far out, but we just went past the tie-in just before the 3034, the green PVC there. That is called a test tee, very similar to a clean-out access. I get asked about them a lot, what they are. It's a diagnostic tool. When the line is first installed, that's where they put a test bladder in to pressure test the line. They're almost identical to a clean-out access, just once the line's passed off, they cap them off. Every sewer line has one of those right before the line transitions pipe materials. We should run into a clean-out access here right around 100 feet by code. There's supposed to be one every 100 feet. Or in and around there. And so far here, very nice looking line coming back. Like right here, very teeny tiny little bit of standing water. At least thus far, that's how it appears, dissipating off there at about 86 feet. And at distances like this, you can have even severe, or what you would typically call a significant belly, and it would have very little bearing on functionality. The likelihood you'd develop a block, this thing I can hardly even call a belly. It's so small. From a hyper-technical standpoint, it is. From 84 to 86 feet there, you've got about a 32nd of an inch of water. And for reference, I don't even consider repairs on bellies until you have at least an inch of water. The little dangly items there coming off that pipe joint, right now the camera's upside down. Those are both glue drips. You can see the color is jet black. Very common thing to see, especially on newer lines. Put a little excess pipe glue, it drips down and hardens in place. That's at the top of the pipe, way out of the way of the flow line. So a little bit of standing water here. If you notice though, just before that little tiny belly I was just notating a moment ago, there was some debris in the flow line. That debris there is accounting for why the water is standing that little bit there. It's just creating a little bit of a debris dam. All right, there's our clean out access, it looks like. All right, so the green valve cover box, it's in the driveway, kind of where this driveway and the next door neighbors essentially come together. Underneath that are two 3-inch ABS cleanouts. And my guess is one of those is for the neighbor, one of the neighbors anyway, and one of those is for this house. In fact, make this easy on ourselves here. All right, just located the clean out there. So as you face this house, if you're standing in the driveway facing the front of this home, that access panel there has got two clean outs. The left side clean out, the one you kind of assume would be for this one, is for this home. The right side there appears to be for the neighbor. And that's pretty common on these flag lots. They'll often run the lines in a common ditch All right, real quick here, we're running backwards before we advance out to that secondary cleanout access. That's where we go through the foundation wall there and pick up our first tie-in. Teeny little bit of standing water here, just going backwards. That dissipates off at just shy of 2 feet. And right there, it's another just teeny tiny little belly there. It's barely 2 feet long, and it's holding somewhere between right around a 1/16 of an inch of standing water. Very, very minor. Now, everything from this point all the way out to the extent we just ran, all of it is in good condition, has good flow, and is functioning properly at this time. There are a few extremely minor bellies. This line was installed very nicely. Whoever did this do what they were doing. You often see much more significant standing water issues. What you have here is extraordinarily minor. We're going to try and advance all the way out to the main lateral connection here from the secondary access point, but everything we've seen up to that point looks great.